Good evening, glory, hallelujah to you. What the heck's your story and what's going through you? This is the glorified version of a Bassin talk show, and I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Welcome, Bass Galaxy. It's about to go down. It's about to happen here tonight. Not going to kid you. Yes. Tonight's show is something we've been waiting for a while. It is the Hibdon family Ozarks Fiesta. Let's get to it. That's what I'm saying. Everybody knows that the Hibdons are the first family of the Ozarks, and we have the Hibdon family on tonight, and a bunch of special, yes, I overused the term special, Ozark legends tonight. Give it up for the Ozark legends coming on. You ain't going to believe what's happening here. And sneak attacks galore. Yes. Yes. And not one, but two giveaways tonight. Two like and share giveaways. I know it's nuts. First one is, yeah, I know, guffaw right there, is the Tin Cup Whiskey Mega Giveaway. That's right. Raise your glass. Let's see what salutes, baby. Right there. Tin Cup Whiskey Mega Giveaway tonight. And also a real sneaky Hibdon family giveaway that might have some things that look like this and look like this and look like that. But check this out. Yeah. All you got to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Your chance to win all this good stuff and a bag of chips tonight on Straight Cast. I'm excited. We were off last week and we're back, and it is my birthday. So I'm overly excited, and thank you. Yeah, whatever. Thanks. Thanks to all of you for the birthday wishes today and the well wishes. That's right. That guy that just shot the laser beams off of there, that is the extraordinaire producer of the Bass Galaxy. It's Andrew Ellenberg. He's right on the head like a producer should be. What's up, Ginge?
Yo, Bass.
Yeah. Hey,
yo.
Ginge, thanks for the cool post this morning.
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, here's something that bass fishermen don't forget, and that's fish catches. We don't forget fish catches. Ginge, and you put together a little montage.
Yeah.
A bassin montage.
I remember a lot of those. I was around for a lot of those.
Yes, of favorite fish catches, and you nailed it, dude. And thanks for the always throwing the college cross arm.
Yeah, that's never going
double
away.
bass picture in there. So
my favorite.
Thanks for putting that on the socials today, and thanks to everyone for all the love.
Yeah.
It's greatly appreciated. Yes, love it. Yeah, it's a big show tonight, and we're so grateful here tonight for our guests as well as you, the Bass Galaxy, and our amazing advertising partners. So get this. Ginge, what's going on? Omnia's got something happening.
Omnia's going 20% off site-wide.
It's a pre-Black Friday.
Early Black Friday.
Whatever that is.
Because they're all moved in,
Who
nice and
cares?
snuggy over there now.
Yeah, who cares? 20% off, right? It doesn't matter if it's Black Friday, Orange Thursday.
Don't matter.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
So I believe the code is early BF.
Early what?
BF. Like
Early
as in black. Not
early best friend?
Not early AF.
Oh.
Early BF.
Early AF.
Early
early
AF.
Black Friday.
There you go.
The
Nailed
Black
it.
Friday and that little boy's smile.
Gotcha.
Yes.
There you go.
Black Velvet, if you
Go
please.
shopping. Spend some money.
20% off Omnia Fishing. Boom, boom, boom. Ginge, half a spot official. If you haven't downloaded the app, now's the time to do it. Chance to win prizes, fun, giggles, all that stuff, and a chance to go anywhere in the world with Straight Cast Bassin. You can do it. It's up to you. Download the app today, and it was cool to see Victor and the boys last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, very.
That was really cool having those dudes on. Ginge, here's a sneak. You right? I'm running through this because we're getting to the Ozark deal tonight, all right?
Yeah.
Ginge, here's the sneak. I'm giving this away right now. And I have not even seen Berkeley post about it or nothing. Or anybody talk about it. But if you're not throwing a slobber knocker in wood, you're effing up. I mean, you are. The thing goes through laydowns like you would not believe. I mean, it just crawls through amazingly well.
The wood, too.
The wood, bud. You know,
grass,
But I was all on that jackhammer. Yeah. You know, I mean, I was all on that, and I love it. But the thing slides, and that was a magic part of the jackhammer. slide and the hunt, but man, here's a new element with the bladed jig on the slobber knocker, dude, in the wood. Unreal. Hey, could you play more of that music? I like the infomercial
Yeah, you're getting
music.
serious. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I was serious. I like the. I like that. Slices, dices, and even catches mices. Yes, the new amazing slobber knocker can be yours. Hey, but seriously, Ginge, Xenons, nuts. You got every model now, right?
Every one of them.
You have every model. You have the X, the MGX, and the LTX, correct?
As well as spinning.
As well as the Xenon. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, whatever. So Ginge, give me what's your favorite one?
They all have their own purpose to me.
Okay.
Like the MGX is.
You're a derb winner, so people listen up. Ginge wins
really.
every gosh dang derby and.
Like I think the MGX is great for the spinner baits, chatterbaits, crankbaits.
Okay.
It's a great.
A winding reel.
Yeah.
I gotcha. The MGX. That's the gray one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The L is now it's just for everything because you can feel everything because it's so light.
It is.
It's like 4 ounces.
Yeah, the
So
LT.
if you really want feel,
that's the silver
and
one.
Dragging jigs and stuff like that, it's unreal.
That's what I'm using it for, like
the X,
biffle toes.
X is just everything because it's just a workhorse.
It is. I'm smashing that with the braid and the heavy line.
Mm-hmm.
On
they
the
all have
X's.
their. They're all wonderful and do everything, but
You know who smashes things with braid and heavy line?
this guy.
he takes his whiskey home. He's performing experiments.
Oh, he left too.
Wait, where'd he go? Ah, yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, coming at you from the compound somewhere in the outskirts of Indiana, it's the one and only Luke Foli, and he's a whiskey gypsy. Yeah!
On.
Yeah, what's
How
up,
you
bud?
doing?
How you doing? How are you doing? That's the question. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, tonight's, you're basically Hibdon family, Luke Foley.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I am.
plain and simple. And you're at home tonight, so I have a feeling you're going to be feeling good.
I am. I have nowhere to drive, and today is your birthday as well as having some special guests on tonight, and going to learn a little bit about the Hibdon family tradition, and I'm probably going to be above .08 tonight, God willing.
Well, God bless you for celebrating, Luke Foley.
Yeah.
I raise a glass to you, the Whiskey Gypsy. And thanks for the birthday wishes. Hey, Foles.
Yeah.
I learned from my mom. I've known this for a long time, but I never really told anybody. But get this. They were talking about it at the dinner last night. Had a little birthday dinner. And did you know that there was a earthquake in southern Illinois on the day I was born? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's it. That's true story. That's a true story. And crazy things happen to me, Foles, all the time. Like I was I was on a run one time with Ginge, and a white dove landed on my shoulder.
Oh, really?
Didn't it, Ginge? It really did. Like out of nowhere. Crazy stuff happens that I can't explain. And just like this whole thing right here tonight and the partnership out of nowhere with you, Luke Foley, and Tin Cup Whiskey, I mean, it's all surreal. I'm going to be, tell you, I just got to be honest with you. I know that was a crazy lead-in, but man, bud, it's crazy, and it's great to have you here every week. Yeah, I like it, Ginge.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it has been surreal to look back and see what all we've done these last 3 years since the team started, and
yeah, bud,
the titles the guys have won, and lady, of course.
And the whole point of me saying that was things that aren't supposed to happen. And and Tin Cup Whiskey, I don't know if that was supposed to happen or not, man, but I don't think it was, and it happened, and it sure is a good thing for the whole Bass Galaxy, you know?
I willed it to happen. I mean, it was straight up like back against the wall. You're going to catch your fifth keeper, by God. Yeah, I willed it to happen. But,
you Roland Martin creative visualization did into play, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, Foles, for those just tuning in for the first time tonight, every week you, the Whiskey Gypsy, come here on Stray Casts, compliments of Tin Cup Whiskey, and you give the Bass Galaxy the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week. And whenever the Bass Galaxy hears that word, they take a sip, and they sip responsibly, of course, and have a dang good time. Now, Luke Foley, what is the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week tonight.
The word of the week's going to be jigs and Ozarks.
Jig, oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah,
I could tell you ain't going nowhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, jigs in Ozark is the deal. Okay, wow. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a social experiment. You know, I'm gonna drink it every time those words hit, and then
what is
you're
that gargling?
Check in with me at the end of the show. I might even try and cast into a 10-cup shot glass or something. I don't know.
I love it. It sounds like an amazing time. So whenever you hear jigs or Ozarks, take a sip of whatever beverage you may choose. It could be 10-cup whiskey, it could ice cold Coca-Cola, and I'm on the Jamaican coffee again right now. If you can't tell by the amount of words I'm saying per second right now, it's good. It's good. Foles, you're sticking around, dude. You're not going anywhere.
I am not. I'm sticking around. I think Courtney might make an appearance.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around and listen to the show and say hey to the guys. And
what do you mean, listen to the show? You're going to be in the show.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be in the show, but I'm just going to be, I'm just going to be sitting in the corner.
Just gonna, well, you got to interject sometimes.
I'll be, I'll interject.
Yeah.
I'll have some stories.
If you don't have stories or not, I'm going to tell Ninja to kick you out. He's going to buzz you out like the Gong Show.
That's fair.
So, Foles, I want to remind everybody, like and share the live Facebook feed. It's the Tin Cup Whiskey Mega Giveaway, courtesy of Luke Foli and Tin Cup Whiskey, and also a special Hibdon giveaway. So 2 chances at sneaky giveaways tonight on the Straight Cast Show. Like and share the live Facebook feed for your chance for goodness. So, Foles, we have the Hibdon family, Dion.
Yes.
Lawson, Payden, and we have a bunch of sneaky Ozark guests. What do you think? You for a good time?
I think it sounds fantastic. So much of a good time. You're talking about giving away prizes. I'm going to give away a rod and reel tonight, a 10-cup branded rod and reel tonight.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you're feeling generous. And how about for the more generous that you start to feel throughout the evening, you just give more stuff away? The more tin cup you get in, you just start giving stuff away. How's that?
Sounds like
by the time we're done
like
here,
a plan to me.
Yeah, by the time you're done here, you ain't gonna even have pictures on the wall in that apartment. You know what I mean? We're giving it all away, buddy.
Sounds good.
That being said, put the power poles down. Yes, it's a good time tonight. We'll see you in a minute for the Hibdon family, Ozark family fiesta. Peace. Don't go anywhere. Coming right back.
Things you let me see.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
to know the difference between power bait and other soft plastics? Ask the fish. Berkeley scientists have. Thousands of flavors tested on thousands of fish. Natural. Man-made. Every bait that's ever hit the water. No matter the shape, size, or color, power bait is the only one that is scientifically proven. Fish bite and will not let go.
Welcome back, welcome back. This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. Make no mistake about it. I'm Pat Renwick, and I'm pretty stoked right now to bring to you, look at this bunch right here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Hibdon family and Luke Foli. Look at you. There's Payden Hibdon, there's Dion Hibdon, and Lawson Hibdon all in a row, and you all have amazing beards as usual.
Kind of like you're back in the 90s, the big hair days.
Yes,
know?
thank you. It's I never left. I'm stuck in the 90s listening to Skid Row all the time. And if you notice,
great band.
Yeah, if you notice, I even stole the Stray Cast logo from Skid Row. I don't know if I ever told anybody that, but it's right there. It's right. It's right. But hey, Lawson, your beard is by far the winning beard of all yeah. I mean, dude, look at that. It's luscious. It's luxurious, and there could be a whole family of avian critters living in there right now. I don't even know.
There probably is.
Dion, you ever hear any strange noises coming out of your son's beard?
Strange things curl out of that beard. You know.
And of course, look at Payden there. Looking good too, man. You, Payden, you and Lawson are no strangers to victory over there in the Ozarks on the local scene, and you're kind of feared by a lot of local anglers out there, just like your pa and your granddad, of course. But yeah, you guys are. A lot of times, people drop out of tournaments if they hear you're going to be in it. I'm just telling you, Lawson and Payden, that's how it goes.
It's just because of the beard.
That's all it is. Foley, I know you know that. I've gotten text messages. There's another dropout. Hibdon boys are in the derb.
Yeah, I've tried to grow a beard, look intimidating like them. I can't do it.
You know what? Does it come out real light?
It's patchy. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Go ahead, James.
Mine's so long right now it hits me in the eyes while I'm driving down the lake.
Just Dion and Payden need to go a little bit closer to the computer because they're awfully quiet.
Okay, can you guys come get closer?
Or speak up, one or the
Payden
other.
and Dion, or yell.
Or yell.
Yeah.
Pretend the boys were out of line, and you're telling them to go to their room, Dion.
Is that better? Can you see us?
Yeah. We can see you good. Hear you a little better.
All right.
Hear you a little better. Hey, Foley. So besides being the pawpaw of the Tin Cup Whiskey fishing team, you also are godfather to these Hibdon boys. To both of them, or one? What's the story? Tell everybody the story.
Yeah, I'm the godfather.
to Lawson and Payden, or to Dion?
To Lawson.
To Lawson. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, if Lawson, Godfather takes care. If anything, God forbid, ever happens to the father. Do you feel in good hands with Luke Foli, Lawson?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, for sure. I just don't think he could handle like two of us.
Not gonna be easy. Godfather's bringing the booze for his wedding though next week.
There you go.
So we're gonna have a good time in the Ozarks next week. Boys.
Okay, you're getting married that's next week?
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah, give it up. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Yes. Excellent.
Now he's fishing a tournament on the day that they have to do their rehearsal dinner. So we got to make sure that we do good in both. So
sounds like a Hibdon family type thing. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's either hunting or fishing involved prior to any major life moment.
That's correct.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Lawson and I were fishing on Payden's wedding day.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And I think Luke said that he was going to do the galloping peacock for Lawson's dance. I mean,
that's fine. It's a great movie. I can do that.
I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but
I'll do it.
Are you a dancer, Foley?
I'm a phenomenal dancer.
Wow. Is that right? Is your friend Luke Foley
I'm a phenomenal dancer.
I don't know about phenomenal, but I've seen him move.
He dances like a lane.
Make me another drink. Make me another drink, woman. No, that's what you get. She hit her foot on the chair.
Folks, I told you this is the Hibdon family Ozarks Fiesta show. And I don't know. Foley's already telling Courtney to do stuff.
You show up a week from Saturday and you'll see the
Rid of it yet?
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Lawson. I did not know that that was coming up. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you think that will increase or decrease your fishing time once you are officially linked?
Oh, I think it'll have to be increased just to pay for the wedding.
There you go. Very, very well said. Very well said. Hey, Dion, you are the force to be reckoned with as far as the first family of Bassin in the Ozarks. Your late great father Guido Hibdon blazed the trail, and a lot of people. You are the man on the mountain. I mean, you are Dion Hibdon, a Bassmaster Classic winner, Forest Wood Cup champion. You did it both. Like, that is a major accomplishment, a two-tour guy. Well, we got, hasn't been done too much, has it?
I think there's 5 of us. If I remember correctly, I think there's 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Me, George Cochran, Luke Lawson, David Fritz, and Davey Height.
Yep, there you go. And, I mean, wow, just the company right there. Think about that. The 2 biggest events in bass fishing, you crossed them off, Dion. And, I mean, let's look at it this way. I'm going to tell you a weight, all right? Which victory was this? 34 pounds, 13 ounces.
That'd be the classic.
That would be the classic. And I was getting into that classic a little bit and looking at it, and you kind of had a 1-2 punch with one bait of different styles. Is that a correct way to put it?
That's pretty correct for the most part. I was going to catch them on a jig one way or the other. I thought I was going to catch them deep, and my mother had practiced with me during the 6 days that we had a month ahead of the tournament, and she almost got me screwed up because she caught them so much better than I did. She walked away from that 6 day practice with a shoot 4 or 5 different ways to catch them. But anyways, I finally had to settle down on two different jigs, one to fish out deep and one to fish, up under those boat docks, and which that doesn't hurt my feelings at all to, fish a whole tournament with a couple of jigs laid out.
Right. And I mean, and I'm going Rain Man on this. You were using a jig on a spin pole, which I think you were calling the Dion, or it was either a Dion or Guido Secret or Hibdon Secret. I can't remember what it was called. And then you were also throwing the big chompers on the casting tackle, right?
Yeah. I probably would have caught them a little bit better if I'd have thrown a bait caster the whole time, because this is kind of back before braid was really popular. And I was trying to throw 14 and 15 pound line on a spinning rod. And I actually built some rods for, back then it was Daiwa. We built some rods so it would handle that bigger line. But,
I remember.
yeah, so it would be a little bit easier to catch them this time with the braid out there and stuff. But back then it was pretty much mono. Nobody really was into that braid that much, and I thought I needed a spinning rod for the bulk of the time, but ended up I was skipping just as good with a bait caster as I was a spinning rod, and so I caught most all of them the last day on a bait caster.
So tell me, what exactly was it? Was it called the Hibdon Secret? Is it called the Dion, the Guido, or the Hibdon Secret? What was it?
It was the Dion Secret is what it was called.
Okay.
Which was just a little hula grub, with a little bit fatter tail on the back of it. The tail was a twin tail, but it was one that we had added some rubber to, and it actually made it skip better,
Nice.
It's still one of Foli's favorite skipping baits, and we still keep a little batch of them, as long as I can keep Con Gambler and making a few, I'm gonna.
What's the head you put on there, Dion?
They were all homemade heads back then. They were little ball heads. Back then that's what we believed in, and the hooks were hand cut, and it was just another one of Guido's great mouse traps that always. It's no accident that we come up with good jigs, and it's just because we catch a lot of fish on them and we fish with them a lot, and it was a handmade. It was one of Dad's handmade little jig heads that I still catch a ton of bass on still to this day.
And it was a ball head with a weed guard on both of them. Okay.
Yeah, a little round head with a weed guard.
Interesting.
The one that I threw the little bit bigger bait on, the chomper style bait, it was real close to what we're throwing now, some of the new design. When you throw a jig 99% of the time, it's just like Ricky Klong or Takahiro, working on their square lips and making them perfect, and that's what we do with jigs. And, like I say, over the years, we've used pretty much our design of jigs, to do about everything.
You guys have been real sneaky about it, though. You've been secretive about it.
I don't want you to have any.
Well, I know, and I know Foli has a bunch of them. He's got your dad's stuff. He's got your stuff. He's got the boys' stuff, and he won't give me nothing. But before we move on to this, I gotta say, that. Again, your Forcewood Cup victory, no surprise. But Payden, what did he win the Forcewood Cup on?
It was a jig.
Ned rig.
Ned rig.
Yeah.
No, it was a jig, man. I mean, go figure. And I believe that was the ninja head at the time, right? With the bug behind it.
Yep, real close to what we got going on right now.
Yeah,
With-
yeah.
I
And
mean,
and
my dad was all the time trying to come up with a better mousetrap, and that's what we feel like our new jig's got that kind of capabilities. It's a really good jig head. It's a good design, and it's a design that we've been messing with for years.
and I happen to get my hands on some of these. I got them
Yeah.
right here, and amazing. The quality of this steel. What's the company making these now?
Baitworks.
Baitworks. Gotcha. And this is the Hibdon Hammer
Yep.
is the name of this jig, and the head on it, that's pretty unique. Which camera do I go? This one here, Ginge, right in the front for the audience, and it's if you could see that right there, it's almost got the conical front on it, but the archy back. And is that a like the rounded back? How would you describe it, Dion?
We originally, the whole reason we came up with this jig style is because we fish a lot of deep stuff here on Lake of the Ozarks.
Okay.
And we, used to use a football head a ton. But the thing about it is there's so much brush in Lake of the Ozarks also, if you're out there on a good structure place or something like that, and you happen to throw in a brush pile, 99% of the time with football head, you're hung. And basically when you hang in that piece of brush, if there was a fish in it, you ruin it.
It's done.
And you kind of screw up that particular fishing spot. But Lawson and Payden got to messing around with it and looking at what we thought was one of the better brush jigs, which was kind of the ninja jig style, and comboed it up and fattened the back end of it up so it'll come through them rocks. So it's kind of a little combo between a ball head to a football head with a pointy shaped head, so it'll come through brush also. And that's what's neat about it, is it works pretty good for a deep structure jig because you're pulling it through the rocks, and then you hit a piece of brush and you're not hung in that piece of brush, and so it's just a good all-around jig, because it works in everything. It works, skipping it under boat dock when you're coming through a lot of brush, and like I say, it still works on these rocky Ozark type lakes as far as not getting hung up a ton.
The head looks like a combination of every single jig head ever made. I mean, it really does. Hibdon boys, it's like you said, Dion. It's got ball head in it. It's got arky. It's got football. It's got ninja point. It's got it all.
Payden kind of came up with that hook.
That's pretty unique.
A few years back, he got to catching them on that in a shaky head.
Okay.
And he got to telling us all about it, that it was, hey, you guys need to be using this. And my wife Amy started fishing with me in some of these little Thursday night tournaments. And, she uses a spinning rod, with like 15-pound braid, and she just doesn't set the hook very hard. She's a little bitty runt, and she just doesn't set the hook as hard as what, full-grown men do. And Payden says, this hook, you don't have to set the hook. And so last summer, he started messing with putting that in a jig head and getting it right. I bet you she's went from landing about 50% on a jig to 85 to 90%, in her fish catches. And she still, I got one, and just starts winding them in, and
it's putting the pressure.
Hooks them through the top of the skull every time, So we went with that hook for sure, because you just don't lose many. I mean, you catch 90% of what bites you on it.
What would you call the shape of this?
Oh, I don't know. Do you know what they do call it?
No.
It's
How about you?
Off my head.
it's kind of like a to describe to the viewers listening tomorrow on the podcast. It's kind of like a cross between the top part's like an EWG and the bottom's like like the old Eakins type jig or something. You know what I mean?
It's got a lot of the same shape as what the old Eakins used to be.
Yeah, and the weed guard is perfect for this. Hey, here's your bud. There's Lawson's bud. Who you got there?
That's some juice.
That's the juice? What's up, juice? That's the perfect weed guard for that deep water stuff, too.
Oh, it's trust me, we put a lot into it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We probably
So did this head exist? And you guys,
we've caught on it, but it's a bunch so far. I mean, in the last 2 years, we've got a lot of bass on it in the last couple of years.
nice. So you've had this head for a while, or did you modify an existing head?
That started off as a football head, and it took a file.
Really?
And yeah.
Wow. And you did this, Lawson?
Yeah, I mean, we all worked on it, but it started off as a football head, and we cut around on it, and, you know, took a file to it, and then we had a silicone mold made of it, and just to get some of them, and that's how it came about.
I like it. So 2 years you guys were on this deal here.
Oh, we've been using it for a while too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this particular one is about almost 2 years in development.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad. He's loving it.
We have to get our money's worth out of it first.
What's that, Dion?
We have to get our money's worth out of it first.
Yeah,
I mean,
before you already let the secret go. Foley was, you weren't supposed to talk about things before Foley, and you already did about the jig. So
I get excited about jigs.
yeah, I know you do. All he does is just fish jigs. That's it. And
I carry them with me everywhere, even when I'm driving. Even Dion makes fun of me. I have them in my work car, truck.
You
just
have
go down the road and just look
He
at
plays
jigs.
with them driving down the road.
He really
I
does.
do.
I know he does. It's
I
like
do.
he's like one with the jig.
I think
There
he's
is
just
always
dreaming
a
of
jig on my
better
kitchen
days.
counter.
Hey, so you guys got this whole line of jigs out now. What are they in from? I got 3/4, 5/8, and half here. What size they come in?
right now it's 3/8 to 3/4.
3/8 to 3/4.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
And
we're gonna have other jig heads. We got wintertime jig heads and stuff, small stuff. You talk about the Eakins style jig.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometime when you got lots of time, tell Buddy Foley about how that came about. And that's something we shouldn't talk about on the radio podcast.
Hey, if I get drunk enough, I'll tell them.
Wait, no, you can't do this. Wait, so you just said, what about the Foley? What's he saying?
Just I'll get a few more in me and we'll talk about the end of the show. Because I'm fine with it. Because I was there and I know what went down.
Dion, what's he saying?
It was a bad situation. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so these are good hooks.
We
Yeah, they
fished
are.
that style jig for many, many years, and we kept it to ourselves.
Okay. Well, Foley, you got to say something at the end of the show.
Oh, I will.
Because it sounds like an Ozark story that needs to be told. Hey, so Dion, when you were a boy,
Make me another one.
when you were a boy, but you hear him, Hibdons? But when you were a boy, Dion, of course, besides your father, who was the man in the Ozarks? Who was the man?
Oh, there's a lot of good anglers.
When it came to
Ozark.
bassing, who was it?
Well, I mean, you got a lot of them. There's, you got Charlie Campbell.
Yeah, late great
you know,
Charlie.
One of the greats. He was just before his time. If he would be going strong at a young age now, he would be awesome right this minute. He's been at it a long time. Stacey's awesome. Stacey's one of the most underrated bass fishermen, that's ever fished. Just an awesome angler, good all-around angler. I don't credit a ton of bass fishermen, for one reason. I like to see guys that can catch everything, and that means a lot to me. A good guide, can take his people out and catch them anything they want to catch. So I'm impressed with outdoorsmen and stuff like that.
I like it.
Denny lived right here on Lake of the Ozarks. It's a well-known fact that good water breeds good people, good fishermen.
It sure does.
Look at that Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn area. I mean, back 25 years ago, it had half the bass fishermen that fished on the BASS tour lived right there on those two lakes. Those California guys are always real awesome. It's because they get to catch a lot of fish.
Keeps your spirits good, doesn't it, Dion?
You get guys like Luke that lives in Indiana and you yourself.
Yeah.
I don't see how you guys ever make it in the fishing industry because you ain't got enough fish.
We have to fish sneaky spots. You should see my crest liner. It looks like the Millennium Falcon. It's just beat to hell because I have to.
Awesome fisherman if you actually lived where there was some bass.
I peddle whiskey.
But I mean, seriously, all kinds of greats from the Ozarks. I mean, of course, Ricky Clunn in that area, right? Basil Bacon. You said Stacey King. All kinds of greats, man. It breeds, like you said, good lakes breed amazing fishermen. Like all you Hibdon boys. And you grew up in the mix.
Denny was close to an Ozarker his whole life, but he lived in Nebraska. And Nebraska might be the only state that's worse than Indiana when it comes to fishing population.
Yeah, Denny got out.
Yeah, I think it's storm up there. So.
I'm not that smart yet.
Yeah, neither am I, Foles. But Uncle Denny was actually going to come join us tonight. But he has blood war paint on his face right now. He's killing things right now. Yeah, he sent me a picture of an amazing buck that he killed the other day. It was awesome, majestic.
Well, when I retire, I hope to be able to go deer hunting whenever I want. Also,
yeah, go with Denny. Just say, Uncle Den, I'm coming deer hunting. It's me, Dion. See you in a minute. But you grew up in the mix. I mean, your father, basically on the Mount Rushmore of the Ozarks, if that makes any sense. And you grew in the mix. Every formidable angler in the Ozarks area you have encountered, I would say. Is that safe to say, Dion?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I've got to see their stories, watch their stories, fish against them. Yeah, I mean, we used to fish a tournament circuit called the Central Missouri Pro-Am. And a lot of those anglers came from that little circuit. It was one of the first Pro-Am tournaments I ever fished. Brent Chapman. It was one of Brent Chapman's first wins. Was a Central Missouri Pro-Am. Randy Blaukat started out there.
100%.
So there's lots of good anglers came from that particular deal. As far as I can remember, I think Jason Christie, that was the first time I ever saw him, was maybe in a Central Missouri Pro-Am. But it's one of those deals that, they fish these good Ozark lakes around here. There's a lot of guys that you wouldn't even know who they are, that I consider to be some of the best fishermen on the planet, but they don't travel anywhere. They fish right here, Table Rock, Bull Shoals, Lake of the Ozarks, Grand Lake, they fish these lakes right here and they don't go anywhere else because their bass fishing itch is scratched right here, and like I say, there's a bunch of those guys don't even travel and they make a living right here.
Which one is your favorite one? Which one would you say out of all those Ozark lakes?
Out of all what?
Out of all the Ozark lakes, what is your favorite one out of what you just mentioned?
Well, Lake of the Ozarks is the best lake in this part of the world.
Okay, I like that you said that. And why is that? Why?
It's full of
Oh, wait, what's going on? Is that the Ozarks hotline? Is that what that is? Do you guys hear that? Do we have a fish on the line, Andy? We might have a fish on the Ozarks hotline. I'm not sure. It's taken a while. We're climbing up the pole. What was that show, Dion, where you had to climb up the pole to answer the phone? What was that? Green Acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Acres. That's what we're doing. What is going on here?
I'm not sure.
Wait a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we did it. I think we got a fish on the Ozarks hotline. Bass Galaxy, can we give it up for the one and only Ozark legend, Stacey King? Yes, hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up? How you doing, Mr. King? It's an honor to have you on the Straight Cast Show.
Pretty good. I'll tell you what, I wasn't sure I was going to get in on this thing. It's a lot for an old timer like me.
Well, Dion was just talking about you. I don't know if your ears were ringing or what, but
Must have been.
Yeah. but of course, he said that you were one of the greatest Ozark anglers and maybe one of the most underrated Ozark anglers of all time. And you're a bassin legend, Stacey King. I think when I think of Andy and I were talking about this earlier, like your voice in that Bass Pros every Saturday or Sundays when they replayed it, that's like I loved it. I loved hearing it, man. That's like
well, I appreciate that. We had lots of fun with that over the years.
It's like yes, it just made us feel good. And but I got to ask you this first off before we get into some Ozarks and some Hibdon history. How many takes did it take on that KVD spinnerbait commercial? How many?
Oh, not many. I tell you what, that KVD put that thing in that cup the first time.
Did he really? True story?
He did. I'm not kidding you. That guy put it in. You know something? I mean, these guys, it's like the Hibdons. They tell you what, they can take a jig and put that thing in a little old hole back under a dock. You know, I'm kind of an open water fisherman. If I cast, I want mine to hit, somewhere in a 10-foot square out there.
You're happy with that. These guys ain't taking that, are they? They ain't having
I know.
How'd that coffee taste after that spinnerbait landed in it?
Yeah, well, you know what I got to say about that.
Well, Stacey, I mean, we're pretty excited to have you on the Straight Cast Show for the first time ever. And I mean, I know you're no stranger to the Hibdon family, and you've had quite a few encounters with the family in the Ozarks over through the years. Any particular stories that stick out in your mind, Stacey?
Oh, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I've just enjoyed fishing against those guys. I think they're a first-rate fishing family. I'll tell you what. But now I don't know. I really have never been able to decide whether they're better at telling stories or better fishing. They're. but I've got one for you. I called Ned Katie today. Ned, kind of the father of the Ned rig.
Yeah, of course.
Ned and Guido guided together on Lake of the Ozarks back in the 60s.
Yes, sir.
And they were real tight, real good friends. And I said, Ned, you got any stories I could tell those guys about Guido? And he said, yeah. He said, I've got one good one. And he said they were fishing one day in the gravel arm. Back in the late 60s, there was some pretty good milfoil in lower Lake of the Ozarks. And they were throwing a bait called a Palmy Special. It was a big single spin, and it had a little spinner deal in front of the blade. And you chatter that bait across the top of the surface, and those bass come up out of that milfoil and hit it. Oh, wow. And Guido said, Ned said Guido was getting ready to make a cast, and Dion's probably heard this story through the family, but Ned said Guido was making a cast and his thumb slipped off the spool, just like it does every once in a while. It happened to all of us, and the bait went backwards out the backside of the boat. And he turned around, started reeling it in. An 8-pound bass hit it, and he caught an 8-pounder behind him. And he said that was the most exciting fish he'd ever caught. So I got a kick out of that story.
The 8-pound backwards bass.
Yeah, 8-pound backwards bass.
Oh my goodness, that's insane. You heard that one before, Dion?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Dion, I'll tell you what, old Ned told me a lot of stories about your dad and your granddad.
Oh, yeah. He used to fish all of them.
What was your granddad's name?
Guido.
Oh, does Guido as well?
He was Big Geet, and Guido was Little Geet.
I got Big Geet and Little Geet. I love it. Okay. All right. Amazing. And Big Geet was just a force to be reckoned with as well in the Ozarks, apparently.
He was a hell of a guy, that's for sure.
Wow. Okay. And shame on me for not knowing too much about Big Gee. I mean, that's the predecessor.
That's before tournaments.
Before Derbs, huh?
Before tournaments, before and he thought Dad was insane for missing all that guiding to start fishing these tournaments with off limits. He just couldn't believe he'd take off 2 weeks guiding, just to fish a bass tournament. But
And Ned told me, go ahead.
I said my grandpa actually passed away right about the time Dad was getting really awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So.
Yeah, Ned told me your grandpa was, he worked on the dam when they were building the dam up there at Lake the Ozarks, and said then he started guiding in the early 1930s. Man, that's a long time ago.
Yep.
He knew where all the secret rock piles were, it sounds like, Stacey.
I bet he did.
He probably built them.
Yeah. Sounds like a Hibdon trick. Hey, Stacey, I got to tell you, you, besides being a Bassin legend, of course, champion, Bassin champion, 2-time Bassin champion. And I got something pretty cool to tell you about your history here that you might not know. Stacey King, are you ready for this?
You bet.
Okay, so get this, Hibdon boys. You got fasten up the seatbelts here about this Ozark legend. So, you have won in your Bassin career $1 million. You're $1 million winner, Stacey. Now it happens more now, but back then you were fishing for less money. A lot of times. Is that safe assessment to say, Stacey?
Yeah, it cost me $1.5 million to win that million.
That's what every pro says. All right. So get this. So in your career, won $1 million, and this is something you might not know. You've caught 6,010 pounds of bass.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a lot of pounds.
That is.
That's more than all of Indiana.
Yes, Lawson, it is.
That is. Great chirp. I love it, Lawson.
Thank you for the math.
You want to hear some math? Get this. Ginger Ninja. Now, you tell me. What do you got over there? So, Stacey King, $1 million winner, 6,010 pounds.
Yes.
What does that equal?
So, per pound of bass that you've caught in your career, it was $166.75 per pound.
Well, that's not too bad.
$166 and how many cents? 75 cents a pound. That's good for a legend. A lot of the legend numbers don't add up because of the payouts. Yours not bad. Yeah. It's pretty good, Stacey.
I can remember what Dad won in the first BASS. He won here on Lake of the Ozarks, and I think it was like $9,000.
Yeah, the payouts were not all that.
Yeah, like $9,000 and a little boat of some sort.
Yeah, he got a 9.9 kicker is what they gave him, Stacey.
Yeah. Well, that was big time back then.
Hey, what are you up to these days, Stacey?
Oh, I'm fishing a lot. I fish here at home all the time. I'm not doing many tournaments. I fish a team tournament once in a while. My buddy Mark Roller and I fished one last Saturday down here at Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, put on one pretty good tournament, and we got lucky and won the thing. We caught 18 pounds and won the thing, so that made me feel good.
Real? Where were you at? Where you caught the 18?
Here on Table Rock.
On Table Rock. What's going on Table Rock right now?
Well, it's pretty sorry fishing, to tell you the truth. I can go out one day. I'm not catching a lot of fish, but the ones I'm catching are pretty good ones. And you go out one day, you get 6 or 7 good bites, and you go out the next day and you don't get a bite. It's Table Rock's low, and they're not running any water, and it's just kind of stagnant right now. And the fish, they feed periodically, but if you're not out there at the right time, it's hard to catch them.
Gotcha. You got any of those old Lucky Crafts left? Those old sneaky Lucky Crafts?
I've got a few. Yeah, I've got
a few. Those were some good ones.
What he's trying to say is you still ain't got none.
He said what, Dion?
I said, and what he's trying to say is, and you still don't have any.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, that was a hot one. What years were those made?
Oh gosh, it had to be late '90s, early 2000s. You know,
Yeah,
25 years ago at least.
those old baits, and then Ricky Clunn's old 1.5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Guido won a tournament on that gold 1.5, I think.
Lake Eufaula.
Yeah, on Eufaula.
Where was it?
Lake Eufaula in Alabama.
Oh, you follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that now. You bet.
I mean, Stacey,
Only
go ahead, Dan.
Only reason I remember that tournament is because I made the same top 10, and he beat me by 35 pounds.
Wow.
And I was in the top 10 with him.
And that was the biggest spanking that Guido ever gave Dion.
That was kind of a blowout there.
That's nuts. Hey, Stacey, I thank you so much for popping in here on the Stray Cast Show, and we would love to have you back as a featured guest sometime soon. Would you like to come back?
Oh, anytime. You bet. Just give me a ring. We'll set it up.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Bass Galaxy would love that. And before you go, Stacey, you got anything you got to say, or you wanna share before we get out of here? Anything you got to plug, like they'd say in the industry? Any plugs?
Well, no. I mean, I've just been very fortunate over the years. Had good sponsorship and still very closely associated with Bass Pro and a few other sponsors, Gamakatsu and USA and Solar Bat Sunglasses, Ride Height Marine Products. Just very fortunate to have been, had the career I've had and been able to still keep fishing at my age. I've got pretty good health right now, so I like to get out and chase them.
Heck yeah, and a Hall of Famer. I mean, and just you are something else, man. You're spry at this age and just still crossing eyes out there on old Table Rock.
I try to.
Bass Galaxy, give it up for Ozark legend Stacey.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
wait, hold on 1 second. I'd be messing up. Don't go nowhere. Dion, you got anything you want to say to Stacey before we get out of here?
All those people he just mentioned are damn lucky to have had him. That's for sure.
Wow.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Stacey. We'll see you very soon. Give it up again. That's Bass and Ozark legend, Stacey.
Take care,
King.
guys. See you.
Wow. I like it. Right there. Heck yeah.
That guy started catching them right about the same time. I mean, maybe even a couple years before my dad did. Stacey's one of those ones that he's been doing it, like I say, as long as my dad had.
Yeah.
And being successful at it.
I love the smile on your face when he popped in. I loved it. I loved it, man. And no, is this the Ozark hotline again? We're rolling. Do we have another fish on the line on the Ozark hotline? What? There it is. Another Ozark legend, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Randy Blaukat. How you doing, Randy?
Hey guys, good to see y'all.
What's going on, bud?
Not much, man. Just got back from Table Rock a couple hours ago and looking forward to this, man.
Yeah. I mean, and you've thrown a jig before, haven't you, Randy?
Oh man, that's got to be. I think anyone that grows up here in Missouri, that's like their primary lure, and everything else is just secondary.
Yeah, there's like a hazing process, I think, in the Ozarks.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're not a good jig fisherman, you just get the crap beat out of you. I think when you go to school or something.
I remember getting my first ones at Southtown Sporting Goods, like in 1976. They had these jigs called bass snapper jigs, live rubber jigs, and we get that and we buy a jar of pork frogs and go down and just have a heck of a time at the park on them.
Old bronze hooks just straightening the heck out.
Yeah, straight eye bronze hook, about 2-aught.
Well, Randy, you're no stranger to Bass and Victory, of course, and you have spent many a day on the Ozark Lakes and ran into this Hibdon bunch many a times, haven't you, Randy?
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't think a lot of people know that, but like Guido, he had so many tournament wins before he even started fishing bass. I remember the very first time I even heard about the Hibdon, and Guido won Invitational Ozarks in 1980. I was still in high school, and I remember reading the Bassmaster magazine about it. And, it was just, there's something about it that just really appealed to me. And then he went on to win, like, what was the one, Dion, he won down there when he won Lake Lanier, when he won that big tournament on the spawning fish. Nobody knew how to bed fish, and your dad was the first one to win a tournament doing that.
I think the bass tournament.
Yeah, Guido like won it by like 30 pounds or something on beds, and then he won a bunch of stuff, locally even before he got started. And I remember that we were at Lake of the Ozarks for a tournament, and I remember the first time I saw Dion. I think that you were still in high school, I think, and we had a Bassmaster invitation or something at Lake of the Ozarks. And I remember seeing Dion for the first time, and Guido was already well known then. And then it didn't take long for Dion to take off too.
All of a sudden, just smashes a Bassmaster Classic, and then a couple years later, Forest Wood Cup. Just being an Ozark badass. You know what I mean, Randy?
Yeah, definitely so, man.
That just didn't start off overnight. I was about 15 years into it when I won both of those.
Yeah, but late bloomers are fine. The late bloomer, I didn't figure stuff out till I was like 45, Dion. So.
Randy actually started about the same time. They were pretty close to it, in Central Missouri Pro-Ams and some of those tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have had quite a few tournaments you've competed against each other, and I'm sure you've been like out on the water, and you're like, oh, Randy's like, oh, that's Dion, and Dion's like, oh, there's Randy over there. Does that happen?
Well, we fished everything. I mean, Dion and I fished the Central Pro-Ams, the FLW, Bassmaster, Top 150s, all that. So it's, God, I can't believe it, Dion, how long it's been, man. It just seems like yesterday we were just kids, man. They were old. It's like unbelievable.
Did you guys ever get, what was the BASS tournaments, Randy and Dion, where you would have two pros in the boat, and I think you would switch off spots or front of the boat? What were those? Were those top 150s, or what were those?
No,
those were Bassmaster Invitationals.
Invitationals. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get a draw together?
No.
You couldn't draw anybody from the same state.
Aha. Yeah. Okay.
If I may, gentlemen.
Yes, please, Luke.
I drew Randy on Sam Rayburn.
You did?
That must have been forever ago.
it was a while ago. Yeah, me and you were both flipping day one and day two, and you're like, "Hey, do you want to gamble?" And I'm like, "Okay." And you went out and you were throwing a bigger crankbait on the weed lines, and you caught like a 3 3/4, and then your second fish was like an 8.5 that I had to lip. And that was pretty intense. We got it in, but you're talking about drawing, guys. I drew you, sir.
That had to be like 25 or over that 30 years ago.
Wow. It was 23 years ago.
Yeah. Oh man.
Holy cow! Hey Randy, would invitationals work now in bass fishing?
Invitationals were the biggest nightmares of all time. There are so many guys, and I'm sure Luke and Dion, you guys have had tournaments where you probably would have come close to winning if it was a regular tournament. Instead, you had to split your fish up, or you had to get some dude up front with it was super aggressive, or that type of stuff. I mean, it was like, I'll give you an example of the open nightmare. I've got a couple of them, but one of them was at Lake of the Ozarks here. It was at Bassmaster Invitational where in November, Dion, remember when they were biting buzz baits, big strings? First day of the tournament, I had 20-some pounds, and I think I was in second or third. And I drew this guy out the first day the second day that had one fish. And I went out there the second day, and like the first 3 hours, I had another 20 pounds. And they were starting to bite, and we were about 2 or 3 hours into the day, and it was getting close to my co-anglers half of the day. And he goes, I got some places I want to hit. I want to try my spot. And I said, dude, they're biting. We're catching 5-pounders. Why do you want to go do something else? So he dragged me off to throw Carolina rig.
Oh no,
God.
yeah, for like an hour, and then finally we went back to it, and I caught a couple more. But that type of stuff happens all the time.
When they were smashing buzz baits, you're out dragging the ball and chain.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave him the buzz bait, everything, but it's just like, no. See, a lot of those guys, it was more important for them to say that we spent half a day on my fish, or we took my boat, than it was actually to catch fish. So I'm so glad they don't, have them anymore.
What? I mean, that's nuts, man.
What I liked about the invitationals was when I drew somebody of Randy's caliber, because at least then you knew you were guaranteed he had the same thing on his mind that you have on your mind, and that is catching fish.
Okay.
And I wouldn't mind at all going with somebody if they wanted to catch them. But it's when you draw one of those guys that just got the money to be in the tournament, and his theory of being on them that has nothing to do with your theory of being on them. Those were the nightmares.
Gotcha.
The one, you got guys that's got a, back then a $40,000 bass boat and a, $40,000 pickup, and they thought they were a professional. That's what was hard.
That was the hurting.
If I drew somebody, well, I drew Takahiro when he won the Invitational on Lake of the Ozarks the last day, and we worked it out. He won and I finished third. So you just got it was a nightmare because you didn't know who you were going to draw. But when I drew somebody I knew, I thought, holy crap, at least we want to catch them, But anyways, I made the Classic, I think 9 times, and 3 of them was out of the Invitational. So,
okay.
I made it work, but yeah, there's lots of nightmares in those years that I didn't have it work.
How was it fishing with Takahiro? Because you're slow, and Takahiro can fish slow, but Takahiro's also a speed demon.
I draw Takahiro 3 times in the Invitationals, and the time here on Lake of the Ozarks, it worked out to his advantage because he had caught him right here around PB2. I'll tell you a real cool story real quick about Takahiro.
Okay.
Takahiro at that point in time did not own his own bass boat. He was fishing out of a guy that he was pulling his boat around, was kind of his boat caddy, called Masaki Shimano.
Oh.
Masaki fished the Eastern Division, and he let Takahiro fish the Central Division out of his boat while he wasn't here. Needless to say, we got in the boat that day, and Takahiro told me, I tried him on the final day, and we're both in the top 5. And he told me, he says, we'll take your boat. And I said, Top, I said, you're leading the damn tournament. I said, that's going to make me look like a schmuck, like I have talked you into going with me. He says, oh, no. He says, I'll tell the camera people if you want. Because we for sure was going to get a camera boat the last day.
Okay.
And so we went to his fish for just about an hour. And he says, okay, that's why I didn't want to take my boat. He says, I'm done. He says, take me to him. We ran about 40 miles up the lake. And sure enough, we both caught him pretty quick. I catch about 18 or 19 pounds in about an hour and a half. He catches about the same and gets, when he gets his 5th one in the boat, he's sitting in the back of the boat. And I told him, I said, you need to get your butt back up and get to fishing. I said, or I'm going to beat your ass. And I said, because I don't know if you know this or not, but he says, I said, I'm wrecking them. I said, and you're ahead of me right now. But I said, I don't intend for it to be that way long. And he sat there, and then I noticed he's sitting back there. He's kind of crying. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And he says, I finally got a bass boat. And that's back when BASS gave away 3 boats.
Wow.
He says, I don't think you can beat me right this minute with what we got in the boat. I said, well, the day ain't over yet, Slim. I said, you better get And he told me he had come here from Bugs Island, parked his boat, or stayed at PB2 in his van, slept in his van. He was out of money, totally out of money.
Wow.
My mom and dad lived 15 minutes from the freaking launch ramp. I said, you're an idiot. I said, you could have stayed at my mom and dad's house. I said, you could have slept in every room in their house and they wouldn't have cared. And my mother would have you 40 pounds heavier than you are now. He was there for 29 days and did not have any money. He could fill his boat up one time. You think there's anybody that fishes in this day and age that's got that kind of dedication?
No.
I asked, I said, hey, this is just from a fat boy looking at a little skinny guy. I said, what did you eat? He said, I bought one of them giant deals of peanut butter when I got there. He would eat 2 or 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter a day. He stayed there for 30 days, including the tournament.
Yikes. That is a proper bassin, man. That's a guy that that's bass centered, isn't it, Randy?
That is crazy.
Wow.
And like I said, by that time I was married and had, one kid at least. And my mom and dad, they had at that point in time, they had the house that the Flying Lure built, which you can ask Foli, that was way too big.
The house that the Flying
Nice house.
And here Takahiro sleeps in his van and eats peanut butter for a month. I thought, oh my gosh, what a deal.
Oh.
He told me that story. I couldn't catch another big one the rest of the day to save my life.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
And just the fact that he broke down in tears too and was crying because he won a boat finally. I mean, that's.
He didn't have a boat in Japan. He didn't have a boat back here. He was strictly using what Masaki would let him use. Wow. And he fished out of that boat for almost 2 seasons.
Unreal. And of course went on to win a Bassmaster Classic. Hey, Dion, when's the first time you remember seeing Randy running around the lake? Randy's always been kind of controversial. He's why are you laughing, Lawson? What are you laughing about? You're the one with the giant beard.
Yeah, Randy needs one too. Everybody needs one, really.
What's that, bud?
I said Randy needs a big beard too.
Yeah. Well, Randy used to have the long hair and all that stuff. He back in the day. So tell me, like, Dion, about maybe when you and Guido first run into Randy. Tell me a story about Randy.
Randy fished in Central Missouri Pro-Ams, and that's where I started.
Yep. And you
first time I started seeing him. Him and Brent Chapman, we all 3 started right about the same. That 85 to when did you start, Randy? Was it in 85 or 86?
85. 86. Yeah.
Yeah, I started.
So I think you started a year or 2 later.
and Brent was right there behind us. I mean, and that's where we all came up really and got started fishing, big time tournaments.
The Ozark bunch. That's pretty crazy. It's a crazy.
I can tell you the first time I met Randy, Pat, if you want to.
Why not, Foles? I want to hear it.
Well, I met Guido and Dion when I was 12.
Okay.
And so I was just coming off of that, feeling pretty good about myself. And my first fishing buddy ever, Craig Rogers, he's like, yeah, Randy Blaukat's down at Poffs today. He's going to be down there for a couple hours because Randy would do a little in Terre Haute, Indiana on Channel 10 News. Randy would do about a 3-5 minute snippet
on the news.
Yeah, he'd be on the news.
You were an anchor man, Randy.
Yeah,
it was a fishing tip show. Yeah,
it was fishing tip. It was Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, and like I said, I just got done meeting Guido and the Hibdons, and life is good. And I'm like, hey, Randy Blaukat's going to be at Poffs. I need you to run me down there. And then you come up and pick me up in about 3 or 4 hours because I'm just going to sit and talk to him. and I know I probably annoyed the shit out of him. But thank you, Randy.
You were showing him your family vacation from the Grand Canyon, 1982.
Yeah, as if Rayburn 23 years ago wasn't going far back enough. I just added another.
Well, this is
so we went back
35 years.
Yeah, it's been that long.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's a little family reunion here. I know. That's awesome.
I actually spent more time around Guido and Dion. Excuse me. Lucky Strike. We were both with the Lucky Strike pro staff forever, and then also we all camped out together. I mean, Guido and Dion and Stella, they bus and they camped out, and I had the fifth wheel trailer, triple towing, so we were always in the same campground. So we had really more interaction at the campground and with Lucky Strike than actually under fishing.
Nice. Little behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out at the and you know that the Hibdon family always had good fixins, Randy, right?
The bus always smells great when you walk by it.
Yes.
All the time.
100%. You know it did.
Yeah. Yeah, Stella was famous for the cooking and taking care of that, no doubt. But man, I tell you one thing. I'll say one thing about the Hibdons on this. It is simply not the same without the Stella, Dion, and Guido at the tournaments. I mean, life changes and all that type of stuff, but that was such a fixture on the tournaments. And there was such a there was such a stabilizing element that went with having them at the tournaments, that it's just not the same, man. That was to me was the best times of tournament fishing when, that was all going on there when we're all together at the tournaments. So
that's so cool, man.
Because everyone looked at Stella and Guido as like their parents away from home. I mean, it was like every single person out there. It was like it's without exception.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. The first family of the Ozarks.
They a lot of young men out there in their time. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I never felt so. I remember one time. First of all, Guido. I'll tell you a couple stories about Guido. Guido, it was like I have never met somebody that had such an intimidating look. If you wanted to,
even
Guido
in pictures, yeah.
I mean, Guido had this look to him. It's like you did not want to do anything to make Guido mad, because when he gave you that look, it's like. But at the same time, he was like had this like a big teddy bear heart. It was like the back and forth with that. But I remember that time that I did that Details magazine where I posed nude in the boat.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got a call from Guido on that after that thing, and it's like I felt like I was so like I had let him down, or him and Stella down so much by doing that. They were pretty cool about it, but it's like I felt like I sort of got scolded a little bit. I felt like my mom and dad scolded me.
That's right.
But I never. That was the most stressing things about that time is having, I think Guido and Stella were mad at me about it.
Yeah, because they're the mama and the papa of the Ozarks, and their child had run and misbehaved out of the woods. You know what I mean? All naked.
Yeah, unless you were there, unless you lived during that time frame, it's hard to really understand what I'm talking about as far as that presence that they had that was can never be replaced.
Awesome, dude. That's cool stuff, Randy. And of course, you are an Ozark legend in your own right, and just a staple in bass fishing this day and age. You've continued to make quite the path for yourself, Randy. And Bass Galaxy, give it up for Randy Blaukat right there. Yeah, bud. You're always YouTubing, Randy. Just YouTubing. You don't have time for anything else.
It's a different world, man. It's not the way it was 20 years ago. It's like things are changing.
Well, speaking of not how it is, soon as you hang up here, we're going to talk about the new forward-facing sonar jig that the Hibdons are tying. It's a brand new forward-facing sonar living rubber jig. It suspends.
Okay, I look forward to hearing that.
That's a true story I just made up, Randy. That's not even anything. That's nothing. Okay. But seriously, man, big fan. Always keep doing what you're doing and being you, because I like how you give 0 Fs, Randy. I really do. I mean, you give your opinion, and that's what it is. And that's okay, right?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it. Bass Galaxy, again, give it up for Ozark legend, Randy Blaukat. You know where to find him. Thanks, Randy. We'll see you soon, bud. Come on the show soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
My dad always, throughout his career and everything, he thought there were 4 or 5 natural bass anglers, and Randy was one of them.
Wow.
That just naturally understood it and got it,
Yeah.
So it was cool, all the kind words, because that just kind of goes to show that, Dad had that effect on a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's what made me the man that I am.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm not half the man he is.
yeah, you have that effect on people too. I hope you know
Well,
that, Dion.
Yeah, but not like my dad. It's just like Randy said. Oh yeah, he could give you the eye, and you'd think, oh hell, what's going on?
You ever see like
You
ever see that Burt Reynolds movie where he's a moonshiner? I think it's like called Gator McCluskey or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Gator McCluskey is a badass, but there was a lot of characters in that movie, and like I could see your pa. I could see Guido in a movie like that. Like in a Burt Reynolds movie. You know what I mean?
I don't know how many conversations at weigh-ins, guys would come up, and it was almost like they were seeing if Dad thought, well, is this right? And a lot of them happened during those invitationals. Trust me. They'd come up, well, this guy did this, is that the way that's supposed to happen? And Dad's like, dude, I don't know the whole situation, and he says, I'm not the principal, all right? Just go handle it yourself. But I got my own problems.
Oh, man. So, we got another Ozarks hotline? What is going on here, Hibdon boys? I mean, there's all kinds of people wanting to chime in and say hello to you. Is this another fish on the line, Ginge? Oh, my goodness gracious. Would you look at this character right here? Bass Galaxy, give it up for Peter T. Peter Thliveros. Wow. Yes. Bassmaster champion Peter T. 7 times.
Gosh, you got your figures up all right. Of course, that guy doesn't exist anymore.
Well, who are you then?
I'm the ghost of Christmas past as far as that's concerned.
Well, I hope you brought us a Christmas ham.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter T., welcome to the show, man. This is the Hibdon Family Ozark Fiesta, and we couldn't think of a better person to bring in than the Hibdon Family old pal, Peter T. Thanks for being here.
Hey, glad to be a part of it. I tell you, it was good to see Lawson and Dion sitting so close together. There was time if they were that close together, they had their hands around each other's throat.
He can't get his hands around his throat because of the beard now, Peter.
Didn't Dion's auditioning for Santa Claus, which is that year, and Lawson, I don't know. Lawson's auditioning for somewhere out in the woods. What's that part of the world over there, Lawson, that Papa always used to say bad things lived in?
Down in Grabois?
No. They're in the Boogie Woods.
The Boogie Woods. That's
I have been trying to get on Alone, the TV show. So,
by God, you look more like Grizzly Adams. But people actually like Grizzly Adams. So yeah, that's not a bad look for you.
Yeah.
Some people don't remember who that. They're not old enough.
We know Grizzly Adams here. He had a luxurious beard just like that too.
Yeah. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Peter T., it's awesome to have you here on the Straight Cast Show. And for those that don't know, obviously you're very comfortable with the Hibdon family, and tell us exactly your endeavors and your relation with the Hibdon family. You're Travel Mate Plus, aren't you?
Yeah, we spent an awful lot of time on the road together over the years. I actually met Guido and Dion and Stella, and I don't exactly remember. I want to say it was sometime right around 1987, 86, 87.
SLC again, give it up for Ozark Lake.
Down at
I came into work.
Yeah, we were up flipping at in one of those tiny little cabins, and I walked in. I was rooming with Shaw Grigsby at the time. We walked in, and there was Dion tying jigs, and Guido was sitting at the kitchen table. Well, it wasn't even a kitchen table because there wasn't a kitchen. It was one room with a hot plate, and we didn't have microwaves back then. Stella was finishing up dinner, and I tell you, it was a crowded situation, but that's the first time I met him. And we traveled together. We started rooming together What year was it, Dion? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't remember just like you, but sometime in the late '90s, we all started kind of traveling together. Me and you and Kenyon and God, I almost hate to mention it, but OT Fears. Yeah, we started all traveling together and staying in the same places together, and from that point on, we were kind of like family. I mean, we were as close to one another as we were to our estranged families at home. At least on my part. I mean, my wife and stepson and son and all they stayed home guarding the fort while I was out gallivanting around trying to be whatever it was I was trying to be. But our family on the road was pretty tight. We became fast friends from way back and shared a lot of time, a lot of stories, a lot of good times. Most of them around the kitchen table, as most families do. And I can tell you some really good stories that involve Lawson and some of his eating habits. And, some of them were not as pleasant, perhaps, as they could have been.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, it involved a lot of eating and indulging in food, and man, Lawson just sometimes didn't take to it too well.
Wait, what does that even mean? He didn't.
Well, he was a lot younger then, and he tried to keep up with the big boys, and he would try to eat as many crawfish as Dion and I would eat, and sometimes he would outdo us and continue on, and then. When you start stuffing a trash can full of trash, eventually it's going to overflow.
He'd start chumming off the barge, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Lawson made some funny situations out of dinner, and it involved turkey legs. That's a whole situation, but we always.
I still haven't eaten a turkey leg. I never will.
Is it like when people get drunk on tequila or something and can't have tequila anymore or something?
No. You could drink tequila again. Turkey legs are no more. That will never happen again.
Thanksgiving. That's good. Glad we swore him off of something.
He got a cabin
right there at the top. I mean, they kind of kept the lid on everything for us.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Yeah, so he's a chump. What are you saying, Dion? What are you saying over there?
There was a cabin at the Guntersville State Park that they condemned because of Lawson.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately, cabin Dion or Kenyon and I were staying in.
Yeah, it wasn't our cabin. That's what was perfect. Peter T got up from the table after you heard all of this. And he walked in, and Lawson's mom walked in there first, and she backs out, and Pete looks up, and he says, "There's some on the ceiling in here."
Oh no!
He's not tall enough to get it that high, But
the bad part is that we heard it before we knew what it was. I mean, it was.
What is going on here?
But yeah, that was one of those things.
Was it like that movie where the kid eats all the pies at the fair? I can't remember. Stand by me. Yes.
It was kind of like the carnival scene out of the Sandlot.
Okay.
When they all saw Red Man and all that.
Yeah. Unreal.
Pretty bad. Yeah, it was a bad scene.
Hey Peter, when you guys first were hanging out, was this pre-Dion Classic or post-Dion Classic?
Oh, it was way pre-Dion Classic, and
it was early 90s.
Early 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
It was pre-Dion Classic, pre-Dion FLW World Champion. A lot of those pre's. We were all just we were kids trying to find our way, and look, we were chasing Guido's coattails. We were following the lead of the hero because
yeah, man.
A lot of people may have known it at the time, don't realize it now, but but Guido was one of my absolute heroes in this sport. I mean, I had three that I really looked up to in the sport. Guido and Rick Clunn and Larry Nixon were the three top guys that I looked up to in the sport. And I was fortunate enough to fish with all of them when I was first starting out. So it was, a unique situation. But Guido, not only was he my hero, he was my friend. Obviously hard to say he's not missed. I mean, he's definitely missed by all of us, but we got some funny daggum stories about Guido. Oh my God. we stuff to that man. I mean, it just to this day brings tears to my eyes to think about it.
He's a joker? Are you saying he was a joker?
No, Guido was serious.
Oh, okay. Well, what would he?
Of us that were jokers that
Now, be real careful. I wasn't in on most of that.
Okay.
You weren't in on the main one. The main had nothing to do with, even though I'm sure he blamed you partially still.
Well, tell us a story. Come on, come on, Peter.
In that group was exempt from blame for a lot of things. But one of the funny stories about Guido was one of the Lake Murray events where he coined a phrase or was given the name, promoted in rank to captain. It was one of those Lake Murray events where the wind blew pretty hard, and Guido came in the last day, and he and his partner looked a little bit moist. They pulled the boat up on the trailer and parked it kind of downhill at an angle and pulled the plug on it, and the boat sat there for about an hour and a half pouring water out of the bilge.
Yeah.
And that's when we started calling Guido Captain Nemo, because he managed to go through and under several waves on the way to weigh in. I don't know whether he was excited or just didn't know how to drive, but he and his partner both had pretty good stringer of fish and were coming in, so on that. But yeah, he never lived that one down for the longest time. But the absolute best Guido story that we got him in no uncertain terms, it was me and Kenyon and O.T. Fears. We're driving east on I-40 from, I don't remember exactly where, but somewhere to the west. And as we were driving along, we stopped at a truck stop to get fuel and take a break. And we were meandering around through, and this is one of those old truck stops that had really good stuff on the walls. And we're just kind of meandering around. And we found some of those little chrome silhouettes of the girl with a ponytail, the silhouette of a naked girl with a ponytail.
Yeah.
That you used to see on the mud flaps of truckers all the time.
100%, yeah.
And somehow or another, we decided we were going to buy a package of those, and we were going to figure out a way to put them in Guido's boat. Well, lo and behold, we went to Santee Cooper for the next tournament.
Okay.
And the last man to, we were trying to figure out a way to sneak them into his boat. But as it turned out, the last tournament, Guido got paired with Kenyon. And Kenyon knew that it was one of those deals where it was a sight fishing tournament. Kenyon wasn't in contention. So he basically, whenever they pulled up to some spot, Kenyon would hold on to the dock while Guido would fish for one he could see on a bed.
Okay.
Kenyon was basically the net man and the boat holder. This was long before power poles. So Kenyon was nominated by virtue of last man to draw the shorter straw to take those with him and figure out a place in Guido's boat to put them. Well, as Guido took all his fish up to the weigh-in, Kenyon was sitting in the boat, peeled the sticky part off of those things, and put them on the inside of his live well lid. And of course, once you close your live well lids on the last day of the tournament, you never open them until the first morning of competition, going out through the takeoff line. For your live check.
Yes.
We are at Lake Norman, the first morning of one of the top 100s up there. And for some reason, we were waiting to see this thing happen. Well, we all got drawn out ahead of keto, so we took off and went fishing that day, and didn't think much about it. Well, at weigh-in, I come idling in, my time to check in, and here comes Guido idling out, and he's staring a hole in me like I'm just, like he's burning holes through my chest.
If looks could kill.
It looks could kill. Well, as it turns out, that morning as he was going through the checkout line, you don't think much about it. You just reach back and flip open your live well lids, and you're going down a line of docks with people, a bunch of people standing there looking at everybody taking off.
There's their hero, Guido.
Yeah, their hero, Guido, is coming down the takeoff line. And whoever's on the speaker is announcing this, that, and the other. Guido reaches back, flips open his live well lids, Dewey Kendrick. And Dewey Kendrick looks down at Guido and goes, "Real nice, Guido, real nice." Guido turns around and looks, slams those lids back shut, and says, I didn't see in there. He said, "You saw enough." And he went on and fished.
You saw enough.
So during the course of the time that those live well lids were closed, that glue got harder and harder and harder, and it was able to peel those stickers off. He was clawing at them till his damn fingers were bleeding from his nails, trying to get them to come off of there, and he never could get them off. And he looked at me, and I thought I was dead.
There's a lot of expletives in his head.
He cussed every one of us out until he found out, and we all passed the buck. None of us knew a thing about it. I don't know what you're talking about, Guido. We didn't have nothing to do with it. But yeah, in Kenyon and OT Fears that planned that debacle, and it was probably the only time in his life that he was truly ever embarrassed at a tournament, and it hadn't even gotten started yet.
It was all because of you. You made him look like truck stop trash.
Oh God, it was so perfect. I mean, and we all still laugh about it. It's the funniest thing we've ever done to any one individual, and he let us forget about it. I mean, is this one of these shows where you can use 4-letter words?
You can use whatever you want, Peter T.
I don't want to do that. I don't want people to think badly of me.
Okay.
It was not above us to use a lot of 4-letter colorful language in our day-to-day conversations, either on or off. And I think at that point, Guido started unloading on us. We were pretty much embarrassed. I mean, I don't think Lawson was around at that time. I think might have been a little before his time. But man, if we could have had video of that,
that'd have been something. He was like the
cell phones at that time. It would have been something to see.
It'd have been viral. He was like the dad in that movie, The Christmas Story, right? When he's just swearing and swearing. And
yep. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Love that flying in the air. Ralphie going all over the place. All that good. So yeah.
Oh, gee. Hey, Dion? What do you think about this? Peter T flew all the way in from Florida for this deal.
Pretty damn cool.
The best thing about Zoom is you can be someplace without having to go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about Zoom. This is the one good thing COVID did for all of us. And
Dad used to say, "Hey, it's your brother from another mother over there."
Yeah.
Peter T. Yeah.
That's how he referred to people.
At different events, speaking engagements and whatnot, that I was called Dion and asked how my father was doing. And I always would say, well, Dion's the smaller of the two of them.
He's the runt. Well, they always ask Dion about the PD rig, too, wherever he goes.
They still do, rightfully so. I mean, he's been known to sling it out there every once in a while.
Hey, I got to tell you, we were in Florida at the I can't think of the name of that one, the one where Roland Martin's always going right now, Peter T. Where's he always fishing?
He's going down to the headwaters.
Headwaters. Seth Fighter and I were over at the headwaters, and it was like one of those beautiful Florida days where I think it was like 32 at night. You know, one of those Florida days you guys love.
Yeah, typical Florida.
Yeah.
When you yank down, that's what you bring.
Yeah, exactly. Us Yankees, you Florida guys are in there actually lighting fires, and we're out there bassing, because us Yanks don't care. But here's what Fighter did, and you'll love this. He's like, I'm bringing out the PD rig. He brings out the PD rig. His second cast, he catches a 7-pounder, Peter T.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, see?
There's nothing. I mean, I keep telling people that it's the easiest way there is to catch one. If you absolutely have a fish, that's the best way to do it. And there's been many a fish that have come to Jesus on a Zoom fluke on the back of it.
That's for sure.
So, yeah.
Peter,
good thing.
Peter just about ranked the best jig fisherman on the planet when he showed him the Carolina rig down at West Point Lake.
Is that right?
It got so bad that Dad, they started calling him, what was that? Green pumpkin candy. They called him. He throwed a Carolina rig so much, and when Zoom came out with that green pumpkin candy, they started calling Dad the Candy Man. And,
Candy Man.
Damn near ruined the best jig fisherman going.
Well, just think, you almost changed history, Peter T.
Yeah, that was a close one.
It was a lot of fun to catch fish on that every once in a while. I throw it every once in a while still when I go fishing.
What are you doing, bud? What's Peter T doing these days?
Well, I'm spending most of the time babysitting adults.
Yeah.
I get people to come down and pay me to go fishing. It's kind of a unique thing. Somebody gets in your boat, they spend the day with you, and then at the end of the day when they get out, they pay you. It's not like that in tournaments. There's no guarantee in a tournament.
But you get paid every day with what you're doing.
I take some people out fishing, so yeah, kind of a good deal. Obviously, it's not as lucrative as winning one of those big deals, but I've conceded the fact that that'll never happen again.
Well, you did really well, bud. I mean, and you are certainly a bassin legend. Many of smiles you have brought to competitive anglers' faces watching you on the Bassmasters, bud.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun in those early years with all of us. I mean, for all of us to be a part of it. I mean, we lived through the glory years of bass, I like to say. I mean,
100%.
Between the 90s and the mid 2000s, bass was at its heyday, its highest point, and those days will never come back again. It's a totally changed sport now, and a different breed of angler, it's not a bad thing. It's just what it's progressed to, and we can look back on those days of bass and think we lived through the formative years.
Yes.
We helped turn it into what it is today through just being out there and having fun. And, it's a totally different sport now. And I'm kind of glad I lived through that. I mean, I couldn't say that I would do anything ever again any differently.
Yeah,
and
you're
feel
a
bad
forefather.
for young anglers today that aren't going to get to experience the same things that we experienced. The first classics that we ever went to, that Dion and I ever went to, were just friggin' amazing. To get up in the morning and go down to the boatyard and there'd be 60 boats all lined up. You couldn't put an inch between them, all lined up perfectly together, all lit up, waiting for you to go, and you just get in your truck, the assigned vehicle that you were in, and somebody drive you to the lake and launch you. You fish all day. They load you back on the trailer, take you to the weigh-in. After that, you'd have banquets and functions to go to. Everything was paid for and taken care of. I mean, it was a special time in the sport, and that was all due to Ray Scott and his vision of the sport. And when we lost Ray this past year, it broke my heart.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't have done none of us would have been able to do what we did.
Nobody here.
With that man. So it was a real loss to the industry. It wouldn't be an industry without him.
Will we ever see Ray Scott's vision carried to the full, Peter? Will bass fishing ever be accepted as a mainstream sport?
It's hard to say. It all depends on the people that are running it now and the people that are participating in the sport.
Okay.
I've always said the biggest thing that holds fishermen back from being better than what they are now is the fishermen themselves. I mean, people can't get past their own, for lack of a better word, greed. I mean, they just can't get past or get over themselves. Everybody's so worried about look at me, that they're not looking at the big picture and just kind of letting a lot of things slip through their fingers. And they'll never be in control of their own destiny. I mean, you got to look at what the PGA has done, what the golfers have done for themselves over the years, and the fishermen will never come together as a group to do that.
Yeah, it's astonishing how that hasn't happened. And I think that you may, I don't know. We obviously need the non-endemic sponsors, like, for example, like Tin Cup Whiskey stepping up into the game, and things like, in golf, like you're saying, Peter T. We need Rolex to step in and contribute some money, or Tag Heuer to the Bassin market. You know what I mean? But actually, non-endemic sponsors to make the thing happen. And so anglers, like you were saying in the past, don't have to pay for everything. And you're catered to, like a PGA Tour golfer.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. But I think it kind of started to go that direction when Boyd Duckett and his crew got that thing going together. But then I think the greed kind of stepped in the way of it going any further. And, the organizations themselves are managing to take control of all the money and divvy it out how they see fit, as opposed to an equal share to all the anglers. And I mean, I know it costs a lot to make these productions happen and all that good stuff, but somewhere along the way, there's got to be a meeting of minds where everybody says, look, it's time to start sharing everything as opposed to, keeping it back. And I don't know, because I'm not a part of it. I can't honestly say. That's just right now I'm an outsider looking in.
It's a valid opinion, though. It really is. I mean,
it's just an opinion.
Yeah.
And whether it's right or wrong, Lord knows I've burned a lot of bridges in the past because I've kind of never held back. Always.
Yeah, you're the guy putting naked ladies in live wells.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I've always been the guy that's just kind of spoke his mind and kind of didn't ever help me, put it that way.
Hey, I don't know about that. I think you're doing just fine, Peter T. You won 7 Bassmaster events. You're a Bassin legend, and you're very important to the entire Bass Galaxy. Just don't.
Let me put it to you real easy.
Okay, please do.
I guess my career earnings, whatever you take my career earnings to have been when I retired or when I quit earning money, and you take that all out and you divide it down over about 30 or 35 years of doing it, it comes out to about $60,000 a year, which is, truck drivers make more. So, if you average it out that way, it's not so glorious. But yeah, when you win $100,000 or $200,000 or whatever it is for that week, you're the man.
Yeah, you're going to Arby's and Long John Silver's like every day, Peter T.
That's right. You don't stop at the Crystal anymore.
No.
You go straight to Wendy's.
Yeah, good stuff. Good cuts of fast food meat.
So yeah. I mean, now even then we were glorified truck drivers, which trust me, the truck driver they give us everything we need today. They're underappreciated, but we were barnstormers, man.
These are rock stars. You're rock stars, Peter T.
Right, yeah. Without long hair.
Yeah.
We would go down the road together. There'd be 5 or 6 of us in a line. We'd all have either radios or handheld little walkie-talkies, we'd be jabbering 100 miles an hour because we thought we were the coolest thing on the blacktop, and we were in our minds. We were as excited to leave one tournament, go to the next, as we were to be driving home. I mean, we lived for the experience. We couldn't wait to go to the next lake to fish the next challenge.
Fishing
figure
gypsies. Fishing gypsies.
Well, and that's all we wanted to catch fish, and that's all we cared about. And you know, it was a cool deal to be able to do that. So.
Heck yeah, the bass was the center, man. The bass was the center, and you guys were on the road like a bunch of bass and gypsies. Dion,
right.
it's pretty wild, man. I'm gonna tell you, my favorite part about this show tonight, Dion, is seeing your face, and I wish the people in the podcast tomorrow could experience this, but seeing your face when Stacey King came on, and especially Peter T. Well, I've never seen you smile as big as when Peter T come on this screen, bud.
I'll tell you right now, when Pete made the comment about, you know, we had seen the best of it, we did see the best of it. We saw the best of the whole that the industry had to have. And the cool thing about it is we got to do it with people we loved. And that's what's really cool about it. You know, I'm sitting here looking at these people here above here. You know, I've had the good fortune to lead a great life, but in the last 20 years or so, I've had some pretty rough goes of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the people that's on this podcast, I made it through it. You know, and these guys are the guys that I called, I talked to when I needed a pick me up, you know, and they were always there for me. And it means a lot to have them on here, you know, to have them, you know, come in and say something, you know, my kids, you know, mean the world to me, but so does Luke, so does Pete, you know, that's those guys, I've been with them my whole life, you know, and so, yeah, it's pretty cool to have them on here, you know, saying the kind words that, you know, like I say, me and Pete have a hard time talking about anybody else because we lived with Dad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that meant the world to me. You know, I've always said that, you know, I would just love to do it like me and my dad did it with me and my sons. And unfortunately, the sport's not gonna let that happen, really. You know, and it's just hard. But like I say, these are my best friends on the whole planet right here. I'm looking at them on this TV screen.
That's outstanding. And just so you know,
next to my wife, these are the guys that mean the most to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude. And just so you know, if you are not aware, Dion, that you and the entire Hibdon family are very important to this entire bass fishing history. You are very important to the history of bass fishing. And Bass Galaxy, give it up for the Hibdon family, please. Yes. And it's an honor to bring your friends in here to talk to you and share stories with all of us. So it's pretty cool, dude. As a bass fishing talk show host, we do things to keep things interesting for us too. And if that makes any sense, and we love the stories, man. We love to hear the stories that you guys had from those glory days of bassing. You know what I mean? The Rough Riders.
And that's what they were. They were the glory days of bass fishing.
Yeah, man. So cool. And Peter T, thanks for coming on this show, man.
Hey, my pleasure to do it. I'm honored that you guys asked me to be on there. I'm tickled to see both Lawson and sitting there together like that because I don't often get to do it. And by the way, I'm looking here at you. If you were to turn your head to one side and that hair hanging down, like it is here on the right side like that, Dion, what is you of? Does that remind you a little bit about Pops before his comb over in the morning? He had one long side that he let hang down in the morning.
That's awesome.
Came out of the bathroom, that was all tufted up to one side over the other, and he had his favorite spray was called, I remember it because I'd see it in the bathroom every morning. It was Consort. He used hairspray to keep that shit in place.
That's nice. Yeah, mine is, there's no hairspray. It's just naturally straw.
Yeah, well, I mean, just if you just hang it to one side, if the other side wasn't there, it'd be perfect. You could go there and curl it around and swirl it back, and by God, it'd be the perfect Guido comb over.
I'm gonna go for. Hey, I'll tell you what, Dan. I'm going as your dad next Halloween, and I'm gonna send you the deal. I'll send you and Peter T. Me as Guido Hibdon.
All you need is those vests.
Only problem is yours ain't quite long enough to pull it off.
I'm gonna go to the truck stop too, and I'm gonna get a bunch of those chrome naked lady things and put them on my live well lid.
It'll get everybody's attention, I promise.
That's a new thing. Let's do that, and we'll call it the Guido. Everybody puts the naked lady things on their live well lids now.
You know, the funny thing about it was those guys didn't have to take those off. I had to get in that boat with a screwdriver and a hammer to get those off.
Of course you did, because he made you do it because you're his boy. And it was all Peter T's fault.
And the nice thing is that glue worked perfectly around that gel coat, so he was stuck with it till he got new live well lids. Because when I pulled it off, it was just an imprint of it right there on his live well lid. So he had to live with it for a whole nother tournament.
Oh, that's outstanding. Unreal. Hey, man. Hey, Peter T., you want to stick around for the giveaways while we got you here?
As long as I get some of it.
Yeah, of course you do. You're going to get some tin cup whiskey.
Duplicate copies.
What's that?
Duplicate copies.
Yes, duplicate. Hey, let's let Peter T. give away something. Can we do that?
Let me tell you one more thing about that.
Oh, sure, yes.
Peter T came out and seen my dad about a month before he passed away.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that he cussed him before he left when Peter T was leaving over those freaking naked ladies.
That's outstanding.
I never forgot that, ever.
Unreal. Hey, well, we got two prizes tonight. All right. We have the tin cup whiskey prize, and then we're going to give away some jigs. Some of Dion and Lawson and Payden's new jigs. You seen these things, Peter T?
And no, I've just heard about them. And look, if you were to give me those, it'd be wasted because I live in a part of the world where that doesn't work so great. And I told Dion one of my biggest regrets is I've got about 300 pounds of jigs sitting in my garage that'll never see water again because I don't travel and fish anymore. So you go ahead and give them away to somebody that deserves them. But yeah, I've heard about them, and they brings a tear to my eye that I'll never get to use them again.
Well, you can put a fluke behind them and hop them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they come in white. You put and just go throw them in that open water on a shell bed and hop them.
Next time you come to Florida, you try that.
No, I'm just going to fish whatever you tell me to fish when I go there.
Niners.
Probably a PD rig, actually. Yeah. Hey, all right, Ginge, how are we going to handle this? Okay, Payden has the Hibdon jig giveaway for Dion, the Dion giveaway. So the Hibdon hammers. Oh, and by the way, I like these little send it things, Dion. These little send it plug knockers.
That's the handiest thing you can have in your pocket.
Yeah, I like it. It's they're little 1 ounce egg sinkers with a clip on it, and you just you hook this onto your PD rig when it gets hung up in the grass, right, Peter T?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then you slide it down the line, and it knocks the plug off.
Whole damn thing is what happens in grass.
Yeah, but seriously, what are these, like 1 ounce, and they're little mini plug knockers. Tell me about this real quick, Dion.
That was invented by my dad because of Lawson and Payden.
Oh.
Because dad made all their handmade jigs and everything. And I don't know if you've ever seen them fishing and stuff. I got to see a glimpse of it on the Potomac when Lawson was doing good down there, throwing a handmade jig, and he get hung up and he just snaps it off,
Yeah, like, he's an animal.
That's a lot of work, you know.
Lawson's
my dad
an animal.
Had come up with a big plug knocker just for Lawson and Payden,
Okay.
Did it do him any good? No, they still just break them off since they get hung up. But
Hey, these work good too for jet skiers and people that are fishing a little too close to the boat.
that's right. I got one of them wrist rockets, and I'm pretty sure I can kill somebody 200 yards.
This will put them down. This will put them down. All right, so we're giving away the Hibdon hammer jigs and some of these little plug knockers. And Ginch, who has the winner for that? Luke has it for the Hibdon jigs. I can't turn your microphone on for crying out, bejeebies.
That is, Payden and Dion have the winner.
Oh, Payden and Dion have the winner. So do you want a drum roll or do you want medieval sound? Payden and Dion.
Payden's finding it.
Oh, all right. So Dion, what do you want? You want drum roll or medieval sound to announce the winner?
However you want.
Well, okay. Well then, Ginge, what are we giving him? Aha! Hear he. The winner of the Hammer Hibdon Jigs and Plug Knocker is
Travis Montgomery.
Travis Montgomery. All right, congratulations. There you go. Direct message, Stray Casts, and we'll get that to the hit. Hey, where do they get these jigs at, Dion? Where does everybody buy these?
You can go online and get them at Baitworks.
Okay.
Baitworks is who actually makes them for us. He's got a big internet deal. I mean, Baitworks he's got a store, in Springfield, Missouri. Like I say, got all the right stuff that the guy needs to go fishing. But he's got a manufacturing facility that he makes baits for several different anglers.
Okay.
And we work very closely with Baitworks.
Awesome. So Baitworks is baitworks.com. Is that what you said?
Yep. Or you can go to our website.
Okay, there it is. Did it and check out the Hibdon's website and get some of the new Hibdon hammer jigs. All right, now we got one more giveaway tonight, and this one was Peter T's idea. This one is the Tin Cup Whiskey Mega Extravaganza giveaway, which Foli is it's a rod and reel. Is there two giveaways, or is it a rod and reel?
It's a rod and reel, and then I'll throw some other wearables in there. Just send me your shirt size.
You're speaking very like Thurston Howell.
I've had 4 of these.
For Manhattan. Yes.
We said jigs in Ozarks a whole lot.
Peter T, the word of the week was every time they said jig or Ozark, someone had to take a drink.
Well,
someone being me, Peter.
Yeah, someone being.
Good that Foley's keeping up, representing the brand well,
I'm a true professional.
So who's giving away who's announcing it? Foley, you're announcing the winner?
Okay, I'll announce it. I need some medieval music.
You want medieval? I like it. Okay. Hey, Courtney, you do the hear ye medieval lady voice.
Okay.
You ready?
Hear ye. It goes to
Jeff Chiata.
Jeff what?
Chiata.
Oh, Jeff.
Keyatta.
Jeff Chiata.
Chiata.
Jeff Chiata. You are the winner of the, yes. I think that was the guy that taught the Karate Kid. What's that?
I think it is.
Mr. Miyata won. All you got to do is direct message the Stray Cast Facebook page, and J.R. Ewing on the chat, who's been doing a phenomenal job all night, is going to get you a prize. And thank you, Luke Foley and Tin Cup Whiskey, for your contribution to bass fishing. And Hibdon family and Peter T., thank you for your contributions to bassing. Yeah.
And Dion, don't keep those boys out too much longer. You got to send them back to the Ivy Bend before they turn into pumpkins.
There you go.
Hey, Lawson, rest up for that wedding next week, too.
Yeah. You got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah. And bassing and
killing deer at night,
Weddings. You got to send backstrap to Stray Casts. All kinds of stuff.
Peter T will get a kick out of this. Lawson lives at the gateway to the Bend. Okay.
There you go. He's the gatekeeper.
That's right.
He's the gatekeeper to the 10. Further back.
Hey, Courtney, thank you, too, for hanging out tonight.
Of course.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
She's making her first trip to the Ozarks next week, so she's
Uh-oh.
very excited.
Yeah, you better be careful up there, Courtney. Be careful in the mountains.
Yeah, as many years as I've spent on lakes, like, I don't know if many of you know, but I grew up basically on Del Hollow. I've never been to the Ozarks. Never.
Okay,
like,
well,
and
here's
I just can't believe it. I'm so excited.
first time for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Payden, keep an eye on her. Hey, Dion, thank you for your support of this show always and coming on here all the time.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
I'll probably take her fishing, and you know where.
Yeah. Oh,
I want to see the lake.
about that.
I want to see the lake. Absolutely.
Oh,
And
wait.
then,
I caught one
maybe
off the
hang
House
out in
Foundation
Margaritaville
today.
for a little while.
We're going to get to see a really special spot on there. And look, with Panoptics now, you'll be able to see the living room.
Aha. What are you talking about? What is this?
I caught some there today.
There's a special place on the lake that everybody that fishes with the Hibdons has the privilege of going to. You know, and every once in a while somebody will catch a fish there. It's the best place on the lake. Quick story. Every time I've been on that body of water with any of the Hibdons, any of them, they have taken me to this exact same place and said, "Don't tell anybody about it." And yeah, I've never fished anywhere else on the lake. So that just tells you that this is the best place on the lake. They take their friends there.
No other place to go.
No other place to go. And every once in a while you'll catch a fish there. It's really a tremendous spot. So,
guys like you aren't buying that bullshit, are you?
you know, I've been there many times. Guido's taken me there. I've got the same story. Throw right there and you're throwing right in front of the fireplace. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's outstanding.
It is. It's a special spot. And,
the Hibdon sneak spot.
Huh?
It's the Hibdon sneak spot.
It's the Hibdon sneak spot that I don't know how many tournaments have ever been won there, but just about everyone they ever fished. That was their number.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's all right, guys. Thanks again. And Dion, seriously, thanks again for coming on this show all the time. And you Hibdon boys, you always bring a smile to our face. And Peter T, why don't you come back sometime and talk some more bassin', Peter T?
All you got to do is call me.
All right, I sure will. Now I got your digits. And Luke Foli and Veronica Vaughn, Courtney, thank you so much. Hey, Bass Galaxy. Hey, Foles, did you have a good time tonight, Luke Foley?
I had a great time.
I could tell. I could tell you're a little grinny and you're feeling good.
I'm feeling good.
He's going to go straight to bed.
Hey, Foley, you mean Courtney's not getting lucky tonight, Foley? What kind of...
I don't know.
Save that.
You gotta, you gotta give him a night off every now and again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're a player like you. Hey, Bass Galaxy.
That's right. Play on, player.
Bass Galaxy, give it up for the official brown liquor of Bass and Tin Cup whiskey as well. And thank you for your support. Hey, we're out of here. That's a show. That's a show, guys. That's a whole dang show.
It's fun.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. So we'll be back next week. We got Billy Dance coming around one of these days. I got to check the schedule. And Thanksgiving's around the corner and all that other good stuff. And Lawson's wedding. We'll be crashing it. We'll be those guys we're at the bad cousin table, Lawson. That'll be us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have the orange and the turquoise suit on. You will find us immediately. All right, let's go home, Bass Galaxy. Give it up again for the whole dang Ozarks and the Hibdon family, and of course Peter T, all the way from Florida. There it is, right there. Yes, sir, Bob. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. How you doing, Ginge? There it is, right there. Yes, sir, Bob. Boom. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. There was an echo of an echo. How you doing, Ginge? There it is, right there. Yes, sir, Bob. Boom. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. There was an echo of an echo. How you doing, Ginge? There it is, right there. Yes. Kaboom. Hey, can we go? All right. Give me some outro music, Ginge. I'm going to take the Hibdons and Peter T. and then in court, and Foles out with us. You ready? You ready? Here it is. You kind of lost it at the end. What happened? Things started popping? It's a loop-de-loop?
All right, then I'll just do it like this. We would like to thank Get Your Coefficient, Sims, Tin Cup Whiskey, Alpha Engler, Half a Spot Official, Bravani, Swoop Jukes, Bite Me Tackle, Amphibia, like Abigacia Berkeley, Impulse Lithium, Crossliner, Power Pole, and Omnia. This has been an Andrew Ellenberger production. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Bass Galaxy. I am Pat Renwick. Thank you for the birthday wishes extraordinaire. I shall now celebrate appropriately, as a proper should.
Peace, I bid you. And my peace, I bid you back. It's time to go. Let's go bassing. Tomorrow's the day. Last day of the year around here for bassing, bud. Gingy, look at your eyes. You look like a gosh damn alligator right now. You look like a crocodile. You look like a Crocodile Dundee without the Dundee. With an alligator. Thanks, Ginge.